Everybody, Houston Wrestling Tracks Part 2 with David Burton this time. Hard man, it's very hard to get a hold of, by the way, so we're going to have a good time. David Burton, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Why is it so hard to get a hold of you, bro? Tell the people.
Well, I do a lot of different things, and I do jobs, odd jobs, and I help take care of these kids, and yeah, I be tired, so I'm gonna be passing out.
Yeah, man, it's hard to get a hold of this brother. I want to suplex him every once in a while, but in the end, every now and then, he come on through. Let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about it. You already saw it last Wednesday night. First of all, I want to thank you for all the birthday love and all the appreciation. I appreciate it very much. As Engine Light, the Check Engine Light came on yesterday, I am now in my 30s. Good Lord have mercy. We're going to have fun with this one. But let's get into it. What the hell happened with MJF and Regal?
I'm not surprised. This guy was always an asshole, so...
I'm like, first of all, Regal turns on Moxley. Saw that coming. Regal's supposed to be representation with MJF. Okay. All of a sudden, bam! Knocks out Regal.
MJF is just an asshole. Well, I tell you what, William Regal never saw that coming. This guy's a real jerk. Jerk.
Yeah, but nonetheless, that jerk is your AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
I'm going to be interested to see how long he's going to be world champion. Now that he has it.
Now, normally, MJF will participate in the Diamond Ring tournament, but now that he's the champion, we're going to have a different change in venue. Or change of participation, actually.
Yeah.
It's normally he that carries the ring. Say again?
Which is a good thing. I mean, it doesn't make sense. He's got the belt, so there's no need for him to be in it.
Yeah. It's a nice, by the way, it's actually, the winner gets a nice ring, by the way.
A cool, nice ring.
And a title shot. That's not too bad either.
And he's made his own AEW World title.
That's horrible.
The title looks like the scarf he always wears around his neck.
Yeah, I don't like it. Now, I'm going to try. I'm gonna give it time. I don't like it.
Well, I don't expect it to stay that way. I think it's just there as long as he's champion.
Yeah. And he's plans. He's going to wear it off. He's going to defend it rarely, which is odd for a champion to do. He's going to defend the championship rarely, So it's going to be interesting to have MJF as your world champion.
Yeah. But this month is going to be an interesting month because there's really no pay-per-views. With the exception of Ring of Honor, which will take place next week, by the way, on December the 10th. In Arlington, Texas, the backyard of Dallas, Texas, by the way. And only 3 matches have been announced so far. You have Chris Jericho, who will defend the Ring of Honor title against Claudio Castagnoli. And if Claudio loses, he must join the Jericho Appreciation Society. You have Daniel Garcia defends the Pure Championship against Wheeler Yuta. And you have Mercedes Martinez defends the ROH Women's Championship against Athena.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this, but, Jim Cornette he probably has a good opinion, saying that ROH is just a dead brand. I mean, I see why he says it, but, the company does not have a weekly television show. They're only surviving through its pay-per-views. And, they need more. Tony not the brightest guy in the world. You know, he needs more talent for Ring of Honor. AEW has way too many talent. What he should have did was the last, I'd say about 20 people he signed for that company, he should have signed him for ROH solely. Because you look at, I was looking at this, and every Ring of Honor championship, they're all held by contracted AEW wrestlers. With the exception of the 6-man tag team titles. So the world champion, Chris Jericho, AEW. You have Daniel Garcia, the pure champion, the world television champion, Samoa Joe. The women's champion is Mercedes Martinez. The tag team champions is FTR. All their titles are held by contracted AEW wrestlers, and that's not good. It's not a good look for a company. Where all your titles are held by people in another company.
So what you're saying is AEW, like I said, is on life support. Not AEW, Ring of Honor.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Until he gets them a television deal. Right now, the only way they're surviving is through pay-per-view.
How interesting.
But they're surviving, so.
I'm sure there's a spot. For example, I guess you could slap it on the CW network, perhaps.
Maybe, but Tony needs to sign more wrestlers at ROH, which I think that's part of the problem why they don't have TV. Because what you're gonna do, take all of AEW's wrestlers and put them in Ring of Honor? No. You gotta have, Ring of Honor needs to have their own talent. This guy can't sign everybody to AEW. And that's becoming a problem for AEW, is that they have too many talents. You know, they're starting to do something that WWE did years ago when they was ready to let go. When they was ready to let somebody go, and would have that person sit home for weeks and months at a time and not be on television. Only when they was about to let somebody go. But that's what AEW is doing now because they have so much talent. And Tony should have signed half of those guys at Ring of Honor. Then ROH would have had themselves a decent company. Because if I was a network and somebody's presenting a wrestling company to me and I see you only have a little bit of talent, I'm not going to go with that. You need to have a full-fledged roster, which ROH does not have. But then again, I'm not surprised with Tony Khan. His inexperience and the fact that he's a fan and has no clue what to do in terms of business doesn't help either.
Well, let's talk about somebody who got experience. Old faithful WWE. Let's go back to Survivor Series Saturday. What's your opinion on War Games?
War Games? Well, I really enjoyed the AJ Styles Finn Balor match. I thought that was the match of the night. I really did. I never liked the women's War Games match, so that I thought I didn't like. I mean, that whole match was just a clusterfuck. It was all over the place. You know, the men's was much better. The men's was much better than the women's. You had the whole thing with Sami Zayn going on, and then for Kevin Owens to come in out of nowhere and join the team. And remember, Kevin Owens chose to join the Brawling Brutes team, which unfairly put Sami Zayn in a bad spot. So you had that story and the ramifications leading into it made that match much better. But execution-wise, it was decent, but it could have been better.
Speaking of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, let's go back to Friday. Uh, Kevin Owens said, "Look here, if I was you, I would get them for they get me." And then, unbeknownst to Sami Zayn, Jey Uso is hearing that. Jey Uso said, "Hey, did anybody talk to you? I just got here." He said, "Liar." And Saturday, Roman Reigns confronts Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And he did what he had to do. Sami Zayn made the line was in the sand. Sami Zayn chose the bloodline through and through, ladies and gentlemen. There is no doubt now. Sami Zayn is Sami Uso.
Yeah, Sami Zayn had to prove to Jey Uso. He damn sure Roman Reigns was like, alright, he didn't screw us over.
Now, Kevin Owens said, look, I don't blame, I agree with Kevin Owens. I don't blame you, man. You did what you had to do. I'll do the same thing. But as far as I'm concerned, we're done.
Oh, remember, Kevin Owens wants nothing to do with Sami Zayn.
No friends, no foes, no travel buddies, no nothing.
Kevin Owens has been warning Sami Zayn, don't trust them because they're using you. And once they're done using you, they're going to turn on you. Sami's not trying to hear it.
Well, he got a point. Think about it. Well, if the time does come for him to be turned on, if you have one job and you do that one job, are you really needing anymore?
No, but if someone's warning you, that's something you don't have to worry about.
Uh-huh.
But now if they do that, then there's no loyalty between them. They were just using him. Like Kevin Owens said. And what about, speaking of William Regal, you brought up, there's a lot of stuff going around that he's on his way out of AEW.
That's a possibility, you know. William Regal has never claimed a certain amount of time. He said, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And he never said how long he's going to be with the company, you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves and return. Trust me, more people are going to return to WWE over time.
Uh-huh.
So, I wouldn't put it past if he does return.
And I hope if he does return to his rightful place at NXT, bring Shawn Michaels behind the scenes, put William Regal on television role, and we're almost back how we got where we started.
And what's the name of that I'm trying to remember the name of that new match they announced on NXT.
The Iron Survivors Challenge.
There you go. What do you think of that?
It's interesting. I don't like it, but I'm not against it either.
I don't know. I gotta see it. But you know, there's an old saying, it may sound good on paper until it's actually executed on television, and then it's a whole big cluster of incidents.
Mm-hmm.
But if WWE is smart, and I hope they do this, I don't even know if they're doing NXT house shows anymore, to be honest. But I know that there's this one thing that WWE used to do back in the day that, which was smart. You know, whenever they had an idea for a new match, they would have the match take place at house shows multiple times in multiple cities to see the crowd's reaction. Mm-hmm. And if the reaction is good 9 times out of 10, they'll put it on television.
Yeah, good.
I mean, they've done it with countless matches, Iron Man matches, even a Royal Rumble match, a ladder match. So they've done that with several matches. Now, maybe they're going to do that with that, I don't know. But that's what they should do. Try the match on television and see how the crowd responds to it. I mean, off television, excuse me. See how the crowd responds to it. And then you go from there. But to be honest, if they didn't do that, they kind of like kicked themselves in the nuts because they already announced it on television. So I'm hoping that's what they did, but we'll see what happens. Me personally, in my honest opinion, I don't think the match is going to be good, but I could be proven wrong, so we'll see what happens. With this NXT special, NXT Deadline is the next one that they're doing. I believe that is this month as well. And of course, that's not a pay-per-view, so I'm not going to count it as a pay-per-view. Like I said, the only pay-per-view in terms of companies you got is ROH's Final Battle. Impact has no pay-per-views, WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view, and neither does AEW. Of course, AEW's next pay-per-view is not until February. WWE's is the Royal Rumble next month. And they're going to be returning to the Alamo Dome. And
wait. You skipping something. You skipping day one. Hold on.
Day one, they canceled day one.
Oh, for real?
You remember that?
I thought they were going to do it as planned.
No, they canceled that.
Ah.
I must have forgot about it.
Let's take a look here. I got a calendar here. Let me see here.
Day one is history.
Let's see here. That's messed up. I'm looking forward to that, dang it.
Royal Rumble in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Third time that Royal Rumble is going to be in that same venue. First time was in 97, 25 years ago. Second time was in 2017. Of course, that's when Randy Orton won the Rumble for the second time, and 97 was the first time that Steve Austin won the title, the Royal Rumble. His first of 3 Royal Rumble.
That year, when Randy Orton won the Rumble, he would verbally renege on his opportunity to go to WrestleMania, because the rules state if the winner is unable or unwilling, then the second runner-up should take his place. And Randy Orton told Bray Wyatt at the time, he is quote unquote part of the Wyatt family, as long as you're the master and I'm the student, I will not compete against you at WrestleMania. Something like that.
Yeah, yep.
And he verbally gave up his opportunity.
Not technically. He made him think he was going to give it up. But it ended up being one big giant swerve after Bray Wyatt won the title. What better way to turn on him than after he won the title? Of course, as we're talking about when Bray Wyatt won the title inside the Elimination Chamber. Inside the dangerous Elimination Chamber in 2017, Bray Wyatt beating John Cena and AJ Styles and 4 other guys. And that's how John Cena's 16th title reign came to an end, was inside the Elimination Chamber. And speaking of John Cena, there's a There's a rumor going around that he may finally be a part of WrestleMania. After missing the last 2 WrestleManias, 2 years in a row, it's interesting because WrestleMania last year, he missed it doing the Peacemaker, and the year before that, he missed it also doing the Peacemaker.
I can't wait for season 2, by the way.
Yes, and speaking of January, we gotta talk about Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. And this will also be a Antonio Inoki tribute show. And of course, Inoki passed on October 1st of this year. So it's going to be a huge show. And it's going to be interesting because it was going to be a 2-night show. They canceled it, said it was going to return to 1 night, but the show was going to be 2 nights again. The second night is going to be basically an Antonio Inoki tribute show. The first night will be the Wrestle Kingdom show. So they're back to 2 matches. 2 nights, excuse me. It's interesting. It was 2 nights. They canceled it, said it was going to be 1, and then now it's 2 nights again. But to be honest, because of the circumstances, I understand why it's 2 nights. So if Antonio Inoki didn't pass away, it still would have been 1 night. But anyway, let me announce and run down some of the matches for Wrestle Kingdom. This is the Wrestle Kingdom card, not the Antonio Inoki tribute show, which they didn't announce any matches for that night. But anyway, here's the January 4th card. You have Jay White defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Kazuchika Okada. You have Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane, the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion and NXT Champion. She's the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. She will have her first title defense against Tam Nakano. Zack Sabre Jr. will defend the television champion. Oh, no, he's not defending, excuse me. I read that too fast. It's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Rey Narita in the finals of the television championship tournament. The winner will be the first ever IWGP World Television Champion. Then you have a fatal 4-way match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Tomohiro Ishii will defend against Hiromu Takahashi, Master Wato, and El Desperado. And you have Will Ospreay defending the IWGP United States Championship against AEW's Kenny Omega. And those are the 5 matches that was made so far. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to the Okada Jay White match and the Omega Will Ospreay match. Of course, for you American fans, of course, any New Japan pay-per-view, they go and air by their time. So we get their pay-per-views at exactly 4 a.m. And if you happen to be up, or if you want to stay up and watch their shows, you have that option. That's your choice. Of course, if you don't want to pay for pay-per-view, you have New Japan's streaming service, New Japan World. You have the WrestlingNetwork.in. And what's the other one?
WatchWrestling.ai.
There you go. Now, those are your options if you don't want to order the pay-per-view. And that's if you're going to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine waking up? I mean, I get it. And I know that there's some people who are going to be asleep and that will wake up to watch that show, and that's fine. You know, people do it for the side shows. Of course, WWE Saudi shows, they go by Saudi Arabia's time, so their pay-per-views start at 12 noon here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so a lot of people, they are sleeping before that, and they wake up to watch the Saudi pay-per-view. So, of course, in New Japan and stuff is different. That's much, much, much out.
Yes, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling just a tad bit generous. I'm gonna do our monthly hookup at WrestleTracks.com. I don't know when exactly. I might give you something for Christmas. I say about Christmas till New Year's, which is not that long. So you got that much time. So I say day before Christmas Eve, all the way to screw it. I'll give you I give you from Christmas Eve to January 31st. I'm feeling generous. Christmas Eve, January 31st. I don't know the code yet. I don't know how much I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna give a percentage. I'm gonna give you this kind of gonna be. But stay tuned to all our platforms to find out. And I give you that code. Take advantage of that code, and you save yourself some money.
That's cool. I also gotta say, a special congratulations to the head of the table, Roman Reigns, who became the #1 wrestler on Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500 list. So congrats to him. And what is this? This is December 1st, so at the end of the year, they're going to have their awards. Their awards for the best wrestler, male and female, match of the year, things of that nature.
Ah, yes.
That's one of the things I look forward to, so I'm interested when that magazine comes out and the names are announced.
I'm glad you said that, because speaking of matches of the year, at Wrestling Trash, we have our annual broadcast, best of the year. So this year, the best 22, excuse me, my bad. The best 2022. Y'all know how we do it. Make a list of the best matches that you thought were awesome. We'll talk about it around this show. We'll put a ranking system together. Number 2 through number. Let's do number 2 through 10. We're gonna leave a space at the top for number 1. Only one of those matches can be declared the match of the year. It can be from any organization, any company, AAA,
Right.
not Lucha Underground, AAA, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, good old WWE, AEW / Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, MLW, any wrestling company in existence right now. It must be a wrestling company in existence right now.
Yes,
And we'll talk about it. We'll leave a space at the top, 2 through 10, and only one of those matches can be declared the match of the year.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. Only one. It can only be one. What is number 1? And there's been some great ones. There's been some great ones. There's been some bad ones. But only the great ones make the list.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool part about it. What about WWE is re-entering the Indian market? Jeez.
Well, wait a minute. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
That's how I look. We only have we only got. I was gonna say what you call it? He's Canadian. We have a few Indian wrestlers, so we need more.
Yeah.
We got plenty of Samoans. We got plenty of Canadians.
Cody, during his time in WWE, he was. I know a lot of people may not believe this, but he was a big star in terms of the Indian market. He was huge.
Who?
Great Khali in his home country of India. That dude was insanely over in his home country.
Oh yeah.
Which is part of the reason why he went into the Hall of Fame. Actually, that's the only reason he went in.
Mm.
They were able to break into that Indian market, and they're looking to increase their status in that country. And I know they've hired up several Indian wrestlers, and they're going to go back to India, have another tryout, and they're even looking to do a pay-per-view in India as well next year.
And unlike Saudi, they're less strict with women, unlike Saudi.
That's true.
Because in India, a woman don't have to do all that traditional dress like you would have to in Saudi. So they can wear the traditional gear in India.
Yeah, India's not like Saudi.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're strict, but Saudi is more stricter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of traditionists in India. So India's going to be pretty interesting. And I know that WWE, part of the reason why they're doing what they're doing is A, to get more wrestlers, and B, I'm positive they want at least one person out of the pack to break out and be that big star for India, like Ali was. They tried it with Jinder Mahal and it failed.
Because Ginger's Canadian, that's why.
Yeah, he is Canadian, even though he has a little bit of part India in him, so they used that, or part Indian in him, so they used that background, and anyway, the whole thing was a fail. To be honest, then again, I'm not surprised, because, you know, like, they didn't take the belt off him soon, when they should have. But yeah, that whole thing was a colossal failure. It was the worst and longest 170 days people had to suffer through. Because that's how long he was WWE champion. 170 days, and he should have been champion sooner. I was like, this shit is not working. And no disrespect to Jinder Mahal. He's a good talent, he's a good worker, but he's not a world's champion. I'm sorry, he's not. I don't want to sound mean, but, you know, there are some guys who are tailor-made not to be world champion, just the way they are. You know, it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's like, how can I compare it to? It's like when a wrestler is a baby face, and that wrestler tries to be a heel and it fails every single time. Like, you're just a natural baby face. You might as well stay that way. Or vice versa. Or the heel tries to be a baby face and it's terrible. They suck. It goes wrong. Like, you know what? You just stay a bad guy because you're a natural heel. That happens. And the same thing can be said for certain guys and girls when it comes to main event status and being a world champion. There are some people who just can't get that done. It's like, you're not a world's champion. As good as you are, you're not a world's champion. Like, people are not going to pay money to see you. People are not going to be invested enough to see you as a world champion. You're not that appealing. That's just how it is. And it's not a derogatory term to people. That's just how it is. You know, only certain people can break out and have that success. For example, they took a chance on JBL. Before that, he was Bradshaw. And before that, he was Bradshaw in the APA. And then before that, he was of a cowboy plain old gimmick Bradshaw, Justin Hulk Bradshaw, and Blackjack Bradshaw. So they took a chance with him and he made it work. Plus, one of the reasons why the whole JBL gimmick worked is because some of that was how he was in real life. You know, he did do business. He did do the whole Wall Street thing. So part of that made sense and it helped make it work. But John was good enough and talented enough to be successful like that. So yeah, it's not for everybody. That's like Rey Mysterio when they tried to make him a bad guy in WCW. That failed so bad. So what did they do? Hey, let's try to put him in a group and leave him as a bad guy. And that still didn't work.
You know, I don't.
They took his mask off, made him a bad guy after having him by himself, and then they put him in a group and kept him as a bad guy, and the whole thing failed. Rey Mysterio is not a bad guy. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's tailor-made to be a babyface, and he's been a babyface 90% of his whole career.
You know, tell you something. I have never heard anybody, whether you like him or not, I've never heard anybody badmouth Rey Mysterio.
Me neither, and that's a rarity in wrestling. And yes, Rey Mysterio was a bad guy, but it was very, very brief.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's only a select few guys in the business that was either a bad guy or a good guy their entire careers. For example, you look at Ricky Steamboat, he's been a good guy, a babyface his whole career. He's never been a bad guy. He's never been a heel. Even Sting was a bad guy at one point. Well, I'm technically not going to count when he started in the business, but I'm talking about as intense as when he was already established. He was a bad guy in WCW in late '99, and unfortunately that failed miserably, and he had to end up being a good guy again, but his time as a bad guy was brief.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to do it again in TNA, and that failed. I was like, yeah. I'm talking about when he was by himself. Then they put Sting in the Main Event Mafia, and he was the only good guy in the group, which it was funny. It was an interesting dynamic, but it was funny. Like, you're in a heel faction, and you're the only babyface in the group. You know, out of all the things TNA did, that had to be one of the best things they ever did, was the Main Event Mafia. And I love the concept. Every male member of the group was a former world champion. Everybody. You had Kurt Angle, you had Sting, you had Booker, you had Scott Steiner. Even when they kicked Sting out and brought Samoa Joe, and Joe was a former world champion, because he's won the TNA title and the Ring of Honor title. And then Taz, he was with him for a little while while he was managing Samoa Joe. Taz being a former ECW world champion. So that was awesome. I liked that group. The whole gimmick, man, it was awesome. That was one of the best things they ever did. I don't know whose idea it was, but that was brilliant. Come on, I know even you like the Main Event Mafia.
It was alright.
You know, because it's interesting, because during that period, that's when I started watching TNA, like, a lot. Because before that, I was only watching it on occasion. So I wasn't watching it that much. But when the Main Event Mafia was around, I was watching it a lot more often. And then when Hogan came in, and Rob Van Dam, and they did the whole Immortal stuff, I was watching it a lot then, too, during that period. Now, some people didn't like Hogan in TNA, but I gotta be honest, when he came in, you know, TNA did very, very well, and they got some of the biggest numbers they ever had. And the whole Immortal stuff was awesome. But once Immortal broke up and then they brought in the Aces and Eights, that's when shit started going downhill. Now, towards the beginning, the Aces and Eights was cool. But then, later on, it just, I don't know, it sucked. Everybody started getting their masks taken off, and then it started getting watered down, and it was terrible. But the only saving grace about that group was Bully Ray and his mic work. And of course, Devon and Team 3D. But other than that, it was just trash. But I remember when they first started attacking random people, arriving in motorcycles and having masks on, and then talking and using a voice modulator, that part was cool. The early beginnings of the group. Yeah, that was when Impact was very, 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 very good. I will say this though, Impact, the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views have been really decent. I have no complaints about their last couple of, the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views. They've been good. They've been very good. And of course, I did see Hard Times 3, the NWA's pay-per-view. I talked about that on the last show. Tyrus was crowned the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. A lot of people are not happy about seeing Tyrus a world champion, but it is what it is. So we're going to see what happens with his title reign. So it's going to be a lot of interesting things that's going to be happening between, especially with the WWE, which is still in a transition period. So it's going to be interesting to see how the WWE is going to be a year from now, with Vince being gone. AEW, they've had more than, they've been around for 3 years, so they're already established. The WWE, they're still in their transition period, so I want to see where they're going to be at as a whole a year later. So, this whole thing started on July 22nd when Vince announced his retirement. So, on July 22nd, 2023, let's see what happens by then. That's going to be interesting. Well, I don't know about you, but my time has to be short here. I gotta cut out and take care of some other things.
Yes,
as usual, I had fun. Everybody take care and be safe. And COVID is still a thing, even though it's not as big as it was before. But please be careful.
Yes, thank you very much, David. Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestle Trash brought to you by Back and Some More LLC. They put the date and delivery. You have a CDL license, you need more information, you can drive trucks. All you gotta do is hit them up. You go to 888-712-2587, 817-204-7259. We got backup.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you, David. I'll see you guys next time on Wrestling Tracks.
Take care.